Good morning, everybody. This is Beauty for Beauty Bubble Now and Before the Bell. And in the description, you will see more information as to why I'm bringing this to you live every day. And we have decided that the name of the show will be called Before the Bell. So thank you very much if you want to look for that, if you can remember that on YouTube. And you would see us live anywhere between early in the morning, but always before the bell. Okay, so that's why it's called Before the Bell. We're waiting for Cheddar to go live today. It seems as though they're a little delayed, and it would make some sense because today it's a big day on the economic calendar. I thought that in the description we would make sure that you have some references on where you can go for your economic news calendar. I would showcase, maybe we'll do this next week, showcase the money.net economic calendar. It's fantastic. But there's some good calendars out there that you can easily find, and we're going to be discussing those today. So on today's roster, things really started at 8:30, where the jobless claims, PPI, retail sales, the Philadelphia Fed Business Outlook, the Empire State Manufacturing Survey, okay, that all came about. Industrial production, those numbers will be out in 3 minutes. Then you have your Bloomberg Consumer Comfort Index at 9:45, business inventories at 10 a.m., natural gas report at 10:30. We have some T-bill announcements that come in at 11, including the 10-year. And we have a Fed balance sheet that comes in at 4:30, the close today, and the money supply comes in at the close today. So really deep day, right? And you can find this over at econoday.com, economic calendar ASPX. And let me make sure that we are indeed live right now. We are. Okay. About to have my first coffee, and we're really on time. I think as long as we keep an eye on what Cheddar is up to, we can close the event right when the bell rings. That's what I'm hoping will happen, before the bell. If not, you'll hear my chimes, okay? All right, so I thought that we would take a look at one of the events that took place today, and that would be the Empire State Manufacturing Survey, so that you would know what this is. And I'm going to go ahead and read exactly. Remember, I do not serve as a guru, but just a guide, right? A guide to have you find and learn. And so the highlights for the Empire State Report are like this. Like the bulk of this morning's Philly Fed report points to continuing trouble for a factory sector that is being held down by weakness in export and weakness in business investment. September's headline came in at -1.99 for a second straight contractionary reading. New orders are even more negative at -7.45, with unfilled orders at -11.61. Employment is in deep contraction at -14.29, as is the work week at -11.61, same as unfilled orders. Input costs do show some pressure, but not selling prices, which are flat. Watch later this morning for the industrial production, which will cover the month of August. So this was Empire State Manufacturing, which was released this morning at 8:30 for September. So those are the highlights that I just read you exactly off of Econoday. Let me give you the recent history of this indicator. The Empire State Index has been flat all year, as have the report's details, including new orders. Employment has likewise been soft, as has the general 6-month outlook. Hit by weak global demand and weak demand for capital goods, the factory sector has yet to get into gear this year. Note that recent strength in actual factory orders and manufacturing production have not been signaled by this report. This is the Empire State Manufacturing Survey, okay? So the consensus was -1, the actual is 1.9. We're going to be going to the charts in just a moment here to see what the reaction is. Okie dokes. All right, so we added, okay, so that's before, and then let's see if I can replace my NAS 100 on TradingView. And I am, one thing that I can do is go over to the NQ, put it over there. I can give this one a try. And do the E-mini, and do the E-mini 1. I'm getting a delayed feed on the E-mini 1. And I don't know if that feed is a, let's see what we've got here on time. And I have 10-minute delay. We'll do the best that we can because this is, we got a reading out of 8:30, and there's the 8:30 print right here. So I'll put us up on the big screen here so you can actually see what happened at 8:30 to the NASDAQ. And let's do a quick switcheroo, and then we're also going to verify that we can see ourselves on YouTube as well. Let's make sure. And we'll check in on ourselves over here as well. Make sure that we're on mute. Give ourselves a thumbs up. And welcome. Right. Make sure the chat works. Chat works just fine. Everything looks pretty good there. Go ahead and get our we're going to make this the Twitter better. Go ahead and tweet it out as it is, and deal with it a little bit better. Okay, and then let me go ahead and X out of the YouTube over at YouTube. You guys will still be hearing me though. And let me get my chart applied. Just give me just a moment. There we go. I'm going to share. All right, so you guys now know that Econo Day, and you'll notice that right at, in fact, let me start to draw on the chart so that you can see it. And bring it down. Okay. All right, so you heard from me, right, that we had the, at the 8:30, right? And we do have a delayed chart here, by the way, so wish I could bring you a live chart on the TradingView. Need to research that a little bit more. We used to be able to do it, but they've changed some things. So this is the 8:35 print right here, and this is the 8:30 close right here. So you can see the reaction. We had an upward look at the size of the candle, number one. Let me see if I can zoom in for you guys. So beautiful volatility when the number came in. A lot of volatility, nice big candle. And of course, prices reacting off of that candle and yet being held by the 96 once again. The 96 is holding the NASDAQ right now. And we'll see whether or not the Empire State numbers, even though they were extremely bearish in tone, if it will make any matter, never mind to our stocks today. And we'll see. The NASDAQ is actually, if we were to draw this chart a little bit better, go ahead and zoom it out a little bit so you can get some parallels in here. Just see where things are at. Just going to do some quick drawing, not a big deal. So that would make sense that it drew off there. I sit out there. This back a little bit so you guys can see. There. So this is the pattern that we're in. We may roll over, tag here. That would make sense. The 51 holds things up. And a little pennant here, but we have a few more minutes, 9 more minutes to the open. Let's go back to Cheddar and see. There they are. And Best of Beauty Allure magazine is going to be bringing the NYSE. And we'll see their staff come up here in just a moment. So that's kind of cool. And I'm still trying to find where their beta feed is. And you can see actually the ticker right now at 9:22. And the bell will go live at 7:45 in 7 minutes 45 seconds. Okay, so we don't really need to make a run through of the tickers because we covered the tickers into the close last night, and of course we did a market news recap. So outside of the economic day news, the news that comes in, the financial economic day, economic news that came in today, and there's plenty of it today, we will just be watching based on that. So you always have to, as I said, have a great calendar, and we'll work on which free ones are out there that are just good ones. Okay. And today we focused on Econo Day, and I'll put those links in the description bar if you guys don't catch it. Let's go ahead and X out of these a little bit. And we'll go to the SPX. We had found a XPX yesterday that we liked. And I think if it's still going to work for us, here we go, and we'll go into the 1 minute. And we'll mark off the 8:30. Zoom out a little bit. And get a 30-minute bar. You can hear them now. So they're, actually I have to put this on mute, unfortunately, because they're playing music. And this is the 1530 bar, 1500. So we're looking for the 1430 bar, which is this bar right here. So this is the bar that had the manufacturing data like that. Put a nice little arrow on there. And that's the bar that took everything. It's the bar that took all the heat. It's okay. The vertical line. So it's better. Easier. Go into the 1 minute. Getting some news from Money.net, as you can hear. You might be able to hear that in the background. And we'll zoom in a little bit more. 5 minutes to go. And we're still down 0.04 on the data. However, now we can start kind of isolating, doing some projections of our own as to what this very fast market will do. 4 minutes to the bell. Let's see. I don't have a countdown on this because it's the 1 minute. I'm not too sure that they have a countdown on this instrument either. Let me go into another interval and see if they do. Not too sure they do. There should be a countdown clock on there though. All right. So we're getting a lot of squawk coming in. Checking on Cheddar, and here they are. Here's the Allure magazine. People, they're very excited. These are traditional publishers. Oh no, iSectors is going to do it. So what the, no, this is the NASDAQ. 2 minutes, 46 seconds. And it's called iSectors. It's pretty exciting. Family members and staff. Today we're going to be hearing from Communications Director from Microsoft, a YouTube star, Sachi Gonzalez, I think. I have the Editor-in-Chief of Allure, Michelle Lee, Samantha Skay of Officer She Knows, Rebecca Wilson of Sachi Art. Ah, that's going to be a great interview. And from Business News Site, Steve Kovacs, CEO of Athier 3D Smart Glasses, Alberto Torres. So an interesting lineup of guests today. Some publishers, a YouTube star. Yeah, I like that. And then we'll look up iSectors so we can just follow through. But very exciting day for them. And then you could see why Allure came in. Allure is going to be interviewed today. So Cheddar is getting an inside, view as to who's being booked. And that really does help any young broadcaster, is to know where to go. And that you're not just relying on principles and intuition for your guests. You can have all the intuitive skill to go after great interviews, but if you're first to gate, people don't really connect all the dots. Whereas if you're sitting and talking to those people that are managing, CNBC every day, you know who they're booking, and so you're able to get those guests in. And as we know, Cheddar really is trying to do this modern consumer mindset, very quick and taking an approach to delivering the news that is more to the generation's needs. So, getting that lead up in old school, that old school would be willing to give them the lead, and then they can book their interviews from there. It's pretty cool. So very excited people at iSectors, and then here's the Allure group right here. And they're very excited as well, and they're ringing in the bell. Very, very cool. And so you can say that even, what did we call the show? The show is called Before the Bell. So ringing the bell might be kind of fun to use as well. Okay, so now that the market is open, and we'll just zoom in here. And we'll stay focused on the camera for just a couple of moments, and then we'll wrap it up and go over to Fire Talk so that I could get some work done on the site descriptions and a couple links in for you guys. And now we can see our countdown, and this spider is trading 213.01. So chewing through those early morning losses. And now in positive territory at 0.09, 0.08, and 0.07. We have some overhead resistance here in the spider. Let's see if it's going to break through. And I thought the reading of those numbers was extremely bearish. And now that the bell has been on for 2 minutes, we'll just take a quick look at our Apple, AAPL. Apple, of course, look at Apple's gap up. Up already 1.86, even on that data today. Incredible gap up. It doesn't really, outside of the fact that it gapped up, it doesn't really feel all that different than the way that the spider took its move. And then now we're seeing softness at the top here. That particular candle right there is a very bearish candle. The one in the center there, 1 minute after the open. And of course, we always wait until 9:50, what's called the 9:50 reversal. But we're not going to be covering that today. We'll go back over to Cheddar. I'll put my earbuds in. And take a listen to their broadcast. Okay, so we'll stay with Apple right here for just a little bit. Maybe we'll run through another. Let's go to SMG. We'll just do a real quick look at things here. SMG up 0.04. Still, once again, very bearish, but doing its best. I do think that this is a reaction. There's some covering going on. That's what this looks like and feels like to me. Let's go to Whirlpool, which is WHR, right? And Whirlpool down 0.01%. So basically a soft open. However, you can see that no gaps, right? No gaps here. And let's go to Google. So we'll just run through a couple names. Google up 0.13 on the open. Lovely volatile candle, you can see, still in bearish territory, but giving the market plenty of place to play in that candle. So we'll see what is to happen of the day. Make sure that you check out my mid-market report. You can follow me over to Fire Talk and look for my avatars. Okay, guys, thank you very much for having me be made part of your morning. This has been Beauty Bubble for Beauty Bubble Now, before the bell, and I'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.